Hello, everyone. To those just tuning in, welcome. To those who've been checking out sessions throughout the day, welcome back. We hope you're enjoying the content and looking forward to more awesome presentations coming up. A big thank you to our partners and speakers for helping us deliver a fantastic program. A quick reminder to join our Slack channel to interact with other attendees and join selected speakers for Q&A. You can find the link in the menu at the top of this page. Happy viewing.
Thanks for the introduction. Just a little bit about myself and set some context for why this topic appealed to me so much. So I am Caroline. I'm a director at Zendesk, specifically looking after the Explore product, which is our data product. My career has been in technology. I am old enough to have started my career in the first dot-com boom in San Francisco, learning my trade with startups. And I've worked in various industries across the US and the UK, so Disney, British Telecom, Paddy Power, and Intercom, working both on the delivery side of product, but also the product management side of things. I think the fact that I'm the eldest of 5 children is what really spurs on my interest in people and what motivates us and how we can encourage people to do what we'd like them to do and understand their own motivations. And that even extended into when I was thinking about college and what course I wanted to do. And I very much wanted to work in something that I could focus on what I was good at, but I would work with people who were better at other things than I was. And I could leverage their experience. So ultimately what I'm interested in, regardless of the product that I'm working on and the team that I'm involved in, is people and relationships. We're perfectly imperfect, but how can we all actually come together so often to create brilliant product, brilliant experiences for our customers? You know, it is about relationships, and I think that's why today I'm really excited to talk about my own experiences of working with product management and product marketing. And, you know, to me, it's like an unwritten love story. We don't talk about it all that much. But there's a lot that we can learn from what worked well and what isn't working. So I'll talk about my experiences and then also what we do at Zendesk to try and make that relationship very fruitful. So I know that David asked this already, but I didn't quite see it came in at the end. Do we have a mix of product management and product marketers in the room? Yeah? Are there any engineers? Welcome. Just curious, welcome. So in my experience, when it comes to product development, the relationship that we navel gaze on most, that we write about most, that we agonize most over, is that between our product management and our engineering teams. We talk about it ad nauseum, like we want it to work, and it's right. That relationship absolutely does need to work. It needs to work because we need to have efficient teams. We need to have a shared understanding of the problem that we're solving. We need to get aligned on the solutions that we're implementing to ultimately validate our ideas and solutions. And they're just some of the reasons why that is important. But I really believe that there's a trifecta part of this relationship to make great products and customer experiences, and that is working with our product marketing managers. And we don't focus on that relationship in any way close to the same extent that we focus on our engineering partnership. So this is a slide that we use to think about building product at Zendesk. We know it takes an army to build product, and to not only build it, but to maintain it. We have this massive, broader product team that doesn't just include product management, engineering, design. It also includes, in a big org like Zendesk, it also includes people doing our documentation, our education, our translations, our product marketing. We then have these supporting teams around billing, legal, support, all of those things. And ultimately, we have our customers as well, who are there to help us validate our assumptions, give us feedback, and take part in our early access programs to help us with our MVPs. And we're in this massive system. And we've moved over time with our engineering and product design colleagues from a waterfall process into this agile process. We were trying to remove our silos. We were trying to remove those handoffs. We're trying to reduce context switching. We're trying to reduce gaps in knowledge where there are assumptions made and incorrectly made then because they don't have the information. But it's my assertion that we've done that really well within the product development and engineering world. but we haven't translated that into how we work with our product marketing colleagues and our partnerships there. At the most crude example of this, it manifests when we build a feature or a product, we're delighted with ourselves, and we're like, hey, product marketer, can you go talk about this? Oh yeah, here's some documentation you can go and read and find out about it. That's not good for the product, it's not good for the customer, it's not good for our teams. So if you take the kind of two extremes of the impact of that, you have a scenario whereby your product marketing is engaged when you have your feature built. They don't necessarily have all the context, but they're tasked with going and building a communication plan, engaging your customers and your prospects. They have some of the information right, but they don't have all of it. They don't really have the relationship with a product where they can go back and validate, because it's just seen as a fractious relationship. So what gets pushed out is potentially borderline vaporware. There's gaps in the information. It's not 100% right. The product manager is left kind of going, what? The team is left going, what the hell? That's not what we've built, or that's a version of what we built. A worse example almost is you're working hard on a feature in a product, you release it, you haven't partnered with your marketing partner, tumbleweed. So you don't even have anything out there about it. There's no communication. Your customers can't find out about it. And the team is still left with the feeling of, what are we doing if we're not even talking about it to our customers and prospects? So from my experience, there are three main areas why I think there are challenges between the PM and the PMM relationship. The first being unclear roles and responsibilities. And that's not just what is in a job description. That is also an agreement between the PM and the PMM as to who is responsible for what. And that depends on the personalities, that depends on how much trust is there in the relationship, and also depends on the organization. But I think being very conscious of that is important. Another reason why I've seen stress between a PMM and a PM is when there's lack of alignment around what problem we're solving or why we're solving it. So, there's just a fraction there as well. And then measures of success. When there isn't a shared KPI or a shared measures of what great is, you've got different motivators pulling the PM and the PMM in different ways. The PMM may be measured on how successful a campaign is, whereas the PM could be measured on shipping. There's no alignment there. Does this resonate with anybody, or do you feel, yeah? So here I am in the Alps. I'm very happy. So we all take a collective breath and we imagine the ideal scenario for us. So for the product marketers in the room, what would that look like? If you were working in sync and in step with your product management partner, what would it look like? Would you be involved earlier on in the roadmap process? Would you be contributing to actually what the problem is that we're solving? Would you, oh my God, be having a co-hosted customer call? And then from a product management perspective, if you were working well with your product marketer, what would change? Would you have faster time for communication plans? Would you have better clarity on the positioning of the product? Would your product marketing partner understand better the roadmap and the reasonings behind that? I think oftentimes when we think about the difference between the role of a PM and the role of a PMM, it boils down to a very crude statement. The PM doesn't do marketing. And that is the most black and white way of looking at it. We need to look at a continuum of tasks. It's true, oftentimes product managers are not marketeers, but what we have to look at is there's very clear tactical areas for both teams to be working on. And if we look at this continuum, we could think about it in so far as the product manager is responsible primarily for driving the internal team and the internal product development, with our product marketer partner responsible for communicating externally and with our customers. That is not to say that a product manager is not customer focused. That's just table stakes. That's just assumed customers at the heart of everything that we do. But if we're looking at the tactical tasks, very slowly looking at them. Oh. So if we look with the customer side and we think about the PMM, this is obviously not a full list, but some of the tactical work that the PMM is around campaigns, sales enablement, positioning and marketing. And then if we look at our product manager, it is around product feature prioritization, trade-offs, team alignment. But the real benefit of these roles working in hand in glove is that strategic sweet spot. So where there is overlap in the work that they do. So those areas include, but not limited to, like the roadmap, the go-to-market planning, like looking at how you're going to talk about your product to your customers and prospects, competitive analysis, revenue. They're all highly important. So that's kind of like at a broad, this is how we think about it at Zendesk. So our PMs are responsible for the roadmap, the technical roadmap and the product roadmap, feature prioritization, feature development, team alignment, which is the theme which you'll hear as I go on through this, our billing, our security and compliance for our product, and our cross-product collaboration. And our product marketers are responsible for go-to-market, messaging, campaign management, sales enablement, competitive analysis, for pricing also. But we've all these shared components, our T1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 product launches. Our customer-facing roadmap is a shared activity. Our monthly launch posts are not just left to our PMM, our product guys are very much involved in that. And then understanding our customer, the analysis, the segmentation and reporting. And revenue is also here as well. So there's also factors that outside of the tasks that can influence who's responsible for what. One of those being, just because you're in a specific role doesn't mean you don't have an interest in another area. You could be a product marketer who has somewhat of an interest in the product management side of things or component of that, or vice versa. So if you've got flexibility, there's potential and trust for you to dip into a little bit of that. And also, teams are busy, teams are under pressure. When you have that trust and that relationship, and you understand the roles and responsibilities, you're able to dip in and help as needed into across the organization. So we think very much of our product marketing and our product management as a team with our engineers and our product designers. It's not just something we put pretty pictures up about, it's something that we work hard at. We are a highly distributed team. We have product management in San Francisco, in Dublin, and in the south of France. And our product marketers are in San Francisco. We do not allow the tyranny of distance to become a barrier for us working effectively together. And we are a highly effective team. And some of what drives that is that we understand and we believe, and it's in our DNA, and this is a quote from Brené Brown, that only when diverse perspectives are included, respected and valued can we start to get a full picture of the world. And we translate that into building a more rounded product, into building a more rounded campaign, and building better experiences for our customers. So, what gives me the right to stand up here and brag about how highly effective our team is? Playing back on those three things that I mentioned earlier, we have very clear roles and responsibilities, as I outlined earlier, but there's grey area. There's grey area, meaning that we're not so rigid that we cannot change. We allow space for people to grow, to kind of dip into the areas that they're interested in. And also, as we learn how we work as a team, for us to adapt to that and adapt our processes. So people aren't boxed in, essentially. They're given the scope to develop. Our product marketers are deliberately part of our product leadership team. They're a part of all the conversations. They're on all the channels. They're on all the direct, all our email lists. They're at the table when we're defining our roadmap. They're at the table when we're doing our strategic reviews. They're not brought in once product have kind of sat down and had a little summit and kind of we're coming down from high with our tombs and saying, this is what we're going to do. Can you please tell our customers about it? They're there advising us. They're there giving us ideas. And as I said, they're part of the communication channels. And this manifests very strongly for the product insofar as, take a Slack channel, like our PMMs will answer questions from our support teams and on behalf of our customers, almost more frequently than the product team sometimes because they are so involved and so engaged. And then if we look at the benefits we've seen because of that, we have alignment up and down our organization around our product. So as I said, we're a highly distributed organization. However, if someone in our San Francisco office speaks to our PMM, who's Andrew, we'll use his name, and they ask him why something is or is not on the roadmap, he will be able to answer that. He will not need to go back and check with the product team. If that same person was to ask any of the Explore product managers why we are or are not doing something, they will get the same answer. They won't get the same words, but they'll get the same context and same rationale. That is incredibly powerful. And that translates then as well when we're supporting our customers' questions and our support team or answering other team questions about the product. We can trust that our product marketing partners and our product team will be saying the same thing. And then this just gives freedom. It actually gives scale across the organization as our product and our footprint grows with our customers as well. As I mentioned, different product ideas are being generated. We are very open and we actively encourage the different perspective that our product marketing partners bring to the table. They look at things differently to the product management. They're seeing it from a different point of view. That adds so much value for our product and for our customers. And I can hand on heart say, we spend zero time talking about that's my role, that's my job, why are you doing that? Or talking to your manager about talking about that. And I've been in organizations where that has been where I've spent most of my time trying to sort out those kind of roles and responsibilities. Our focus is on how can we make our product better? How can we scale our product? How can we get more people on our product? How can we grow it? How can we make more revenue? That's the focus and that's the driving force for us. And so this is a direct benefit of some of it. So because our product marketers are so engaged and they're part of our team, and we don't just collaborate, we are partners. We can produce marketing material in literally less than half an hour. This is a real example given from our marketing team. Because they have the context, because they understand. And likewise, our product team dip in and help out our marketing partners. When we were launching Explore, as you can imagine, when you launch a product, there's a shit ton of work to be done. And our product managers stepped in and took on some of the communication comms work that had to be done, some of the campaign planning, just because it was about the product, right? It wasn't about the role. It wasn't about, oh, that person isn't doing their job. So if we think about the relationship, they should be two peas in a pod. They should be hand in glove. We should be focusing on that dynamic, how that relationship works, as much as we talk about our engineering partners. So things I'd like you to think about is how much time have you actually invested in building a meaningful relationship with your product marketer or your product manager, a deliberate relationship? How well understood are the roles and responsibilities? And can you create that gray area so people can grow and pivot a little bit? Within your own organization, where is your strategic sweet spot? Where is that overlap? It won't be the same necessarily as Zendesk. It won't be the same as the generic template. But where is that overlap? Where can you harness the power of the two people coming together? And can you create success metrics that are shared? One or two, so you've got similar motivators and drivers towards the work. And then how can you increase alignment and reduce those handoffs, reduce that gap in context, those misassumptions? And then to allow your teams to grow and mature as your product grows and matures, how can you identify strengths and weaknesses and areas of interests, regardless of the role, so that people can grow and mature and bring your product forward? And all of that ultimately is boiled down because we all build product. We all love to build and promote and talk about product because we love our customers and we want our customers to have a great experience. So what do you need to do or change or dial up if you don't need to change anything to ensure that your customers are having a fantastic experience with your product and are the advocates for your product in the market? And that is me. I'll just read out these questions, I suppose. Okay, so who prioritizes the features, the PM or the PMM? So ultimately, the PM is responsible for the prioritization and the order in which we do the work. However, PMM has a very active role in influencing that and putting up a case for why something should or should not be done, in the same way that engineering have a voice in that as well. How does communication work between PMMs and PM? Do you have a weekly meeting? Yeah. So we're not in the same office, we're distributed. So we have many Slack channels, arguably too many Slack channels, which PM and PMMs are in. I run a weekly staff meeting, which actually is a meeting that has no engineers in it. And it is product management, some of our strategists, our documentation team, our support team is part of that as well. And that's where we share some of the strategic and tactical work that's going on. And the agenda is not set by me. It is a Google Doc that everybody inputs into ahead of the meeting about what they want to talk. And there's time allocated in that specifically around if we're doing early access programs or if we're doing launches and campaigns around performance and planning around that as well. Do you think business level OKRs can help a product and marketing relationship? I don't know. So yes, I do. How I think that helps is I think it helps focus on the strategy and it gives that anchor for what we're all working towards. So how we work is our business OKRs are set and then we validate our product vision against that and we prioritize the roadmap items that are going to drive those OKRs as much as possible. When does PMM jump in new product development, from the beginning or when it's almost? So in our case, our PMMs are involved from the beginning. It may be, there's different levels of input along that cycle, right? So at the beginning, they may just be informed, they may just have a question, but that staff meeting keeps people updated on the progress of items. We share any research broadly as well there. So they are involved. They certainly have a voice in it. Yes, in a new product marketing job, how can I gain credibility and trust from my PM? So I think this can be generically answered insofar as when you go into any new role, my preference is to listen for the first little while, to start building up that personal relationship as well and understand how that person and the product manager and that team actually work and understand why they're doing things or why they've prioritized things. And then once you've got a little bit more of that context, then you can, ask questions as you go, but then you can start kind of giving a viewpoint on that as well. Might I go for another one? Yeah, okay, cool. I'll answer the PMM report to you first. The PMMs report into a separate, they're all part of the broader product org, but they're part of a marketing organization that isn't into the product organization as well. And how much of your team influences the business and corporate strategy? So I guess in terms of our organization, we have a VP who I report into who works with our C staff, and he would be representing how the Explore team could influence the strategy. I'd like to say greatly, but it's not really. We have a vision for our organization, and where we influence is where we think Explore can lend to that, and how we staff for that. You have those. We talk about roadmap and trade-offs and prioritization. That happens at the strategic level as well, and so we have a voice in that about how our product will help achieve the company strategy or how we might alter it to support it. Good? Yep. Fantastic. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you.